Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the King's Podcast. It's your host, Eugene, aka G Money. And on this podcast episode, I'm going to be talking about what you know me for, G Money. We talk about money. We are going to talk about net worth. And on today's episode, I'm going to talk about MAMKHIZE, aka almost everybody knows her as MAMKHIZE. And MAMKHIZE has been in the news recently because of her troubles with Sars, her troubles with money. She's been in trouble for owing Sars close to 40 million because of different reasons, because of different things that she did in the past, different ventures that she's had in the past, her construction company, her soccer team, and her other businesses or other sources of income where she has been accused of evading tax, robbing Sars of her dollar. So in this episode, I'm going to unpack her net worth. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's start by defining net worth. What is net worth? Net worth, it is the difference between your assets and your liabilities, your possessions and the people that you owe money. If you have possessions up to 200 Rand and you owe money to people worth 100 Rand, which means your net worth is 100. 200 minus 100, then you are left with 100. That's what we consider your net worth. So if you are wondering why are we talking about MAMKHIZE and her money and her net worth, so on this podcast we decode money, we talk about finances, we analyze finances. On this episode is not any different. I'm going to talk about MAMKHIZE, discuss her net worth, which is estimated to be around between 300 million and 350 million. So how does somebody accumulate 300 million? It takes 20 plus years, 30 years of working in the construction industry, government tenders, getting contracts from government, doing business with the state, fixing cars, building roads, building bridges, building houses, public housing. So on this episode, you already know we are going to discuss how did MAMKHIZE accumulate her wealth. So in the beginning of her career, she had a business or a company that she owned which did business with the government, the South African government. You can Google that, you can find out information about that. We already know that on this podcast we discuss public information. This is information that is in the public domain, in the public. Everybody knows about this. Those who are able to research and dig up information, they may have heard about this. So I'm going to talk about how did she accumulate 300 million. She accumulated 300 million as it is said and written that she accumulated this money through government tenders, doing business with the government. So back in 2005 and back in 2012, she was in trouble with Sars and they accused her of owing about 200 million. And you can ask yourself, how does somebody owe close to 200 million? That would mean that the amount of money that she generated or the amount of money that her businesses generated was close to 800 million or even more. 800 million plus if she could owe tax up to 200 million. A quarter of that money she was supposed to pay to Sars, which if you are trading as a company, that's around 23%. So basically we are talking about a person who's been making a lot of money. You could estimate that at some point she was a billionaire. She was a billionaire because how do you owe 200 million in terms of your businesses and your income if you never made close to a billion? So that means at some point MAMKHIZE was worth a billion. So we're talking about a company that she owned that did repairing and rebuilding of cars, auto restoration, building houses, building bridges, building roads. She did it all. At some point she was in courts for fraud, alleged tax evasion, as Sars alleged that she was doing her businesses in improper practices. So in other words, she was skimming off the top. She was not reporting all the money that she made. So without wasting any much more time, I'm going to get into why we are sitting here right now. We are sitting here right now because everybody is wondering if you could be a billionaire. It could be argued that she was close to being a rent billionaire. If you could be a billionaire, how could you be so broke that people or the state has to raid your properties and take your cars, freeze your accounts, and want to sell your possessions just to recover money? And if it is said that in recent years, Sean Mkhize, aka MAMKHIZE, is worth 300 million, this could be 2023 figures, this could be 2024, 2022 figures. So if in 2022 you are worth 300 million, as it is reported, as it is written, how could you be unable to pay off a debt of a meager or a mere 40 million rands? So the question stands, is she broke? Is she not broke? Is MAMKHIZE broke? Is MAMKHIZE not broke? So I'm going to unpack now the issue with the team. The team which is known as Royal AM, Royal Andile Mpisane, named after her son. This is the team that he is a chairman of. MAMKHIZE's son, only son, Andile Mpisane, has been managing this team, chairman of the team, and also a player at the same team that he owns. So we are going to decode now that I have a different view about this team. I have a different view about the position that she's in. Many people are saying she's broke. Many people are saying she's not worth this amount of money that we are saying she's worth. Net worth is debatable. Some people are going to say you have a lot of money. They're going to perceive you as somebody who's rich, somebody who is a mogul, somebody who is a billionaire, based on what is written on papers, what is written on magazines. So basically it has been said that MAMKHIZE is worth so much, but some people are saying they don't believe it, they don't buy it. How could she be worth so much money and she can't even afford to save her own team? Now let's look at what does she own. First of all, let's start with tangible things. She owns a house or a mansion, multiple properties in the area of KZN, Durban, suburbia, in the urban areas. She owns a house that is estimated to be worth 20 million. And she has family, extended family, many people living with her in that property, servicing her, working in that property. So how could she not afford to pay a 20 or a 40 million rand tax bill if she owns a property? Second thing that she said to own multiple foreign cars, European cars, your Phantom Rolls Royce, your Rolls Royce Cullinan, one of the latest cars worth about 16 million rands. She owns other cars, the Rolls Royces, Phantom or the Ghost, as most of you know it, and she owns Bentley, she owns many cars, Mercedes, Maybach, different kinds of cars, and the Ferrari, not to forget the Ferrari. She owns a lot of cars. Some of them is local cars, estimated at 1 million. Some of her cars estimated at 6 million. All these cars, in their cash value, their market value, or what she bought them for, they are estimated to be close to 30 million. A car, one single car, worth 16 million rands, and it's a classic car or it's a collector's item. That car is worth 16 million. Other cars are on average 6 million, 3 million here, 3 million there. And when you bundle them together on top of the house or the mansion that she owns, we are estimating that she owns cars or mobile properties that are about 30 million rands. So let's say you were to sell these cars right now to save your team. If you wanted to save your team, and let's say that this team that we are talking about, Royal AM, is a valuable property, and you want to save this valuable property, if it makes money for you, if it is an asset to you, wouldn't you want to sell your cars? Wouldn't you want to sell these assets that are depreciating every day? Wouldn't you want to sell them? Of course you would. And how much money would she get if she was to sell this property or this mobile cars. She would make probably from a 30 million rand valuation of all her cars, she could probably get away with 10 million, or maybe at most or at best 12 to 14 million of her 30 million rand market value car collection. So basically she would get away with half. Even in the property, if she was to sell that house, she would probably get 18 million or 16 million from a property which is valued at 20 million. So basically she would be having somewhere between 25 million to 30 million rands, and she owes Sars 40 million. Now, this is where I differ with a lot of people. And that's where my problem is with a lot of you guys who are saying that she's losing money, she's not smart, she's not that smart, she's not that rich. If she was rich, she would save this team. This is where we differ. My opinion is that this is the best thing that could have happened to MAMKHIZE. Losing this team is the best thing, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you that in South Africa, there are only 3 teams, if not 2, that are making money, teams that are rich, teams that are affording to pay millions and millions for players. They are affording to pay millions and millions to maintain the team. This is your Kaizer Chiefs and your Orlando Pirates. Mamelodi Sundowns, they have a lot of money also, but they're not as big as Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs. Many people will argue with me. Of course, there are many people who are in love with Sundowns, but let's be real. If we were to put t-shirts in a store right now, if we were to put brand value and compare Mamelodi Sundowns and Kaizer Chiefs, the most recognizable brand is Kaizer Chiefs. When you see that yellow, when you see that gold, you know people are behind that. When you see that black of Orlando Pirates, people are behind that, and that translates into money. So basically those are the 2 or 3 teams in South Africa that are making a lot of money. So if you are to look at Royal AM, Golden Arrows, Black Leopards, Amazulu, all these teams, they also have owners that are billionaires or millionaires, 500 million people who are making money, and they could easily own this team and maintain them. Why is MAMKHIZE as one of these people going through trouble of losing her team just because of a mere or a meager 40 million rands debt that she owes to Sars? I think it's more politically motivated. It's more business motivated. There are people who don't like her. There are people who don't want to see her succeed. That's why they are canvassing and advocating that she gets ripped away from this team or this property that they believe is making money for her. But I'm about to tell you that owning a team does not make money. So you can ask, how does a team in South Africa make money? So a team in South Africa make money through sponsorships, through TV deals or broadcast deals, through merchandise, your t-shirts, your boots, your flags, all these other things, your water bottles, anything branded with Kaizer Chiefs or branded with Royal AM, that makes you money. Sponsorships, and then we have heard or we have read that there was a Umsunduzi municipality that sponsored Royal AM with 27 million rands over 3 years, which means they gave them 9 million rands every single year. So basically this was their biggest sponsor. You don't hear any other sponsor being mentioned as to be sponsoring Royal AM. So which tells me the only money that they are getting, this is the money they are getting from Umsunduzi municipality. The other money they get is from PSL as being part of a broadcast deal with DSTV, SABC, or whoever is broadcasting and televising the matches of the PSL. So basically they are getting between 2 million and 10 million at most. Some of the teams get 10 million based on the other fees that they get, performance fees and all of that. So how much money do you think Kaizer Chiefs is getting? How much money do you think Royal AM is getting? Because definitely they are not getting the same amount of money. They don't pull the same amount of numbers into the TV. So my point is that if you look at the 9 million rands that they're getting from the municipality as a sponsor, you look at t-shirts that they sell. How many people have you seen wearing a Royal AM shirt? Do you see hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people wearing this t-shirt? Of course not, man. man. You have to be serious, man. You gotta be kidding me, because this team doesn't make that much money. And for me, if you see the way MAMKHIZE is acting right now, she's happy that her team is finally getting taken from her, because it is a liability to own a team in the PSL. It is a liability, and I'm telling you right now, if you have not heard it before, you are hearing it right now on the King's podcast, Royalty podcast. This is the best thing that could have happened to MAMKHIZE. Losing this team is the best thing that could have happened to her, because now she's going to be free from managing this stress. She couldn't even afford to pay salaries because the team didn't have money, or maybe she wasted the money. But to be honest with you, this team was a liability, and most owners in the PSL, they are running liabilities. They are running a liability, and if you have a liability as huge as a team in the PSL, you are definitely going to lose money, and your net worth is going to go from there going all the way down. So if you own a team, I would advise you, find a way out, find a way to let it go. If you love football, go and watch Arsenal, go and watch Man U on TV. Stop wanting to own a team, because owning a team is the worst mistake you can make if you are a low tier team. If you are a team in Womvela, team in the lower divisions, you could not make more money. You are only going to make losses. You are only going to struggle to pay salaries. If the ANC cannot afford to pay salaries, who do you think Royal AM is? Of course, they are going to struggle. Even ANC gets sponsors, they get people donating millions and millions, but they still cannot afford to pay salaries sometimes. So Royal AM is also a liability. So if she was to maintain this team, she was going to cough up her own money. So if, according to my own opinion, this team gets sold, gets taken away from her, this is the best thing that could have happened to her. She's going to be free. If she loses this 30 million rand valuation of the team, in the next 5 years, she's going to make that back. How does she make that back? She's going to make that back by having all the future cash flow that she was going to pay in the future to finance the team from her other businesses into this team. All that money that she was going to spend, in other words, she's going to pocket that. She won't have to spend that anymore. And she owes this guy who sued her, who took her to the FIFA court, about 11.1 million. This guy from overseas, I think he's a South American, Copa America type of guy. He signed a contract from Kaizer Chiefs to Royal AM, and then they ended up fighting, and she allegedly got sued or got a court order to pay 11.1 million. This is amount of money that is not going to come out of her pocket anymore. She won't have to worry about that. According to my own opinion, this is a win for MAMKHIZE. Her net worth is going up. If she's worth 300 million right now, in the next 5 years, her net worth is going to go up. And you have heard it here on the King's podcast with your boy G Money. And we are back again with another episode. Until next time, this is it, and we are out.